So I'm listening to their there's a conspiracy on birds that aren't real, and birds in the whole U.S. are
to kill all of the birds, and then launch the Vietnam War to gain access to a specific type of metal only located there.
I don't get it, but
build millions of robot birds using
birds
slave labor
aren't real, and they were... What?
Right. You're helping nature by
What?
creating more birds.
That's the stupidest shit ever!
Yeah, there's other details like
Birds aren't real, everybody.
Shut down that bird program. Joke's on you, bird brain. Yeah. The long version is, of course, very long, and it includes a lot more specifics about this very...
Oh, my God. Dude.
Birds not being real, I mean, you're never going to be able to see things the same way again. Look, the fake birds, it's just like CGI and practical effects. They have evolved over time. Back in the 70s, when everything was blurry, hazy, and didn't have a lot of colors going on, you didn't really have to hide
Why is
too
this
much
fucking damn pothead not dead yet?
Looks different. Yeah, there's just smog everywhere. Yeah, it was.
Why is that guy not dead yet?
But nowadays, you gotta get pretty damn environment. Now let's cleaning up our air, and now we gotta make the birds a lot more realistic and a lot farther away. That's a lot harder. But thankfully, the CIA, they only hire the best. Yes.
Yeah, check it out. These guys are gonna die in 2 seconds. Hey! 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 No! No, you're supposed to die, you dumb shit!
And apparently it has. Last week in Springfield, Missouri, a large rally of at least dozens of people
Guess you blew up instead.
For this movement. There were custom homemade signs and chants like, "Bird watching goes both ways."
God!
I like that. I get that on a shirt. I love that. Yeah. They have a great merch store, too. Yeah. Peter McIndoe, he was there with a big white van with messages written on the side like, "Birds can charge on power lines," and "Pigeons are liars," and also a helpful diagram showing what a so-called pigeon's insides actually look like. And, the roof of the van is, of course, kitted out with bird spikes to prevent any robots from landing on it and, spying on what he and his team are doing. That would be the last thing they would want. Exactly. It would appear that the Birds Aren't Real movement has gotten so big that Peter and his crew are currently on a tour across the country in that van, spreading their message for the entire summer.
Come on, you fucker. Die! Die, bitch!
For $5 a month, or a Patriot for $10 a month, or a Founding Father for $1,776 a month. Now, it looks like you need to join the Patreon to get the inside scoop on where this tour is heading and when, unless any birds figure out how to use it. But they've also been documenting this tour on their YouTube and Instagram channels, and there will surely be plenty more content to come, unless the CAA puts a stop to it, or, you got there's a lot of things that go wrong. This movement, back when it was small, it didn't really represent a threat to the status quo, but now it's getting bigger. Watch out for the ICBMs, the Intercontinental Bird Missiles. Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
Be careful out there. Maybe wear a helmet so you don't get dive bombed. That's the thing is, you have, a lot of birds doing surveilling from the sky, and then you have some very realistic attack birds like geese on the ground. Geese can fly,
geese.
But if you come near them, they will teach you a lesson. Geese are sort of like the tank hero character. The pigeon is, pigeon's like, your main. But they all have roles. That was even
when they said pigeons aren't real and they were all like robots, that was funny, but
they want to get
stupid shit.
This
is stupid as shit.
That's what I'm saying. And then
this is stupid shit.
Live it off the rest of its life in Robot Vegas, whatever that is. So there you go. It's all very interesting stuff, and I look forward to seeing it develop. I need to check out that merch store because, again, this is one of those things where it's like, even the guy who invented it knows it's a sham or whatever, but it's like, look, people are having fun with this. When it comes down to it, it's even less serious than pretty much any conspiracy theory out there. It just seems like a good time with people who can understand jokes and humor getting together and be like,
right? And then, but there's one guy probably at every meet that's like super into it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, Flat Earth started off as a joke movement.
Oh my God, Flat Earth is like stupidest shit ever. It's like, you think the Earth is flat? That is the stupidest shit ever.
Trying to argue in favor of flat. And then, somehow, maybe not directly, it got to where it is
Go that
today.
way.
So,
Go that
I don't
way.
know, 20 years from now, or...
Go that way.
That's what I'm saying.
Go that way.
Or the boomers, which would be our generation.
Go that way.
Are they going to be talking about how, birds
No,
are...
okay, go that way.
That probably will happen.
Go that way.
Because once you have enough distance from
Go that way.
it's created, and you have enough people
Go that way.
to the reality of it, it's going to muddy the waters to the point where, yes, some people will be brought into it and never know that it was like a joke, or maybe it was started a joke, but that's
It's
what
water.
the truth.
Go to
Because
water.
every joke. Kernel of truth, a little seed of doubt.
Oh well, fuck it.
There's another
I
animal
want to do
news,
the fucking...
but this time real animals and not fake robot animals built to spy on Americans. Last year we talked about murder hornets, a very appropriately named insect due to its alarming size and penchant for murdering bees. Thankfully, a team of experts were able to track down and eliminate the murder hornet threat before it was too late. It was basically the Bin Laden raid, but for insects.
Yes.
And they did it, and we're very proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, another group of very sinisterly named insects, which was wreaking havoc on other animals in its ecosystem, was also defeated. Move on to
I need to get...
meet the crazy ants.
I got a crazy ant.
Yeah,
She's nuts.
we all got at least one crazy ant.
But we're specifically talking
No!
about yellow crazy ants here. Not to be confused with other species of crazy ant, like the longhorn crazy ant or the raspberry crazy ant.
Or your crazy Aunt Karen.
Yeah, all of these species apparently
got
get their
it,
names
Karen.
from their erratic and unpredictable movements. But the yellow crazy ant has a lot more going on.
Yes,
They
so we're-
spit acid and they eat birds.
Which are
No, these
they eat robots.
Yes.
What I meant to say.
Yes, so
The
we're...
yellow crazy ant is originally from Southeast Asia, but they're...
No! Not a fucking another one. God
God
damn it.
A tiny little piece of land in the middle of the Pacific.
Oh, I
Government.
fucking...
From
Seriously.
Global News,
The ants hail from Southeast Asia, but they became a devastating plague on the U.S.-controlled Johnson Atoll, where they would sneak up on nesting seabirds, blind them with acid, and then devour them in swarms. The atoll is the only patch of dry land within a 1.5 million square mile ocean, making it a crucial landing spot for tens of thousands of birds from 15 different species. So yeah, these tiny ants somehow managed to swim
I
over
had
these birds
one,
that are
now I
about
have
6
two.
times bigger than they
Oh,
are.
that's
And
awesome.
give enough acid in the birds' eyes and mouths that they kill them, and then eat their bodies. It's got to be, that's like a week's worth of food, I imagine. And because Johnson Atoll is such an important landing spot in the middle of nowhere, yeah, that's a big problem.
yeah, that's why I'm wondering if any of our nuclear tests had anything to do with the power of these ants.
No.
Could be.
Yes.
I don't know if we ever we tested biological weapons there. I think I don't know. We didn't test nukes, but I think we tested some other weird shit. So yeah,
The ants are fighting back.
That could be it.
They're like, these damn U.S. government birds, will show them.
Yeah.
Leave their parts scattered all across the atoll.
That'll teach you to mess with us.
BBC's Planet Earth actually captured yellow crazy ants attacking crabs on Australia's Christmas Island, and it's insane watching these tiny ants overwhelm and kill an animal that is so much bigger than them. But the good news is that the U.S. government says it has successfully killed off all of the yellow crazy ants on Johnson Atoll after years of trying. They're the birds were getting too expensive. From the
I need
article,
to...
so-called crazy ant strike
God
teams
damn.
worked hard to systematically bait and kill every one of the insects on Johnson Atoll, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said
This
Wednesday.
sucks, dude.
The teams destroyed the ant nest.
No, yeah, fucking creatures.
Birds were getting expensive.
Creatures.
Spending a lot of money
Oh,
on birds.
dude.
Yeah.
No, I got creatures.
We gotta go back.
And the dog,
build more birds.
this is like the first vacation for the drug sniffing dogs that are out of work. They're like, oh, let's go to the beach,
Yeah.
sniff around for some acid ants.
We're all done with weed. Sorry about that.
You're on ant.
We got a new job for you.
There you go.
You're pulling you out of retirement, buddy. We need that nose.
Yeah.
We need to take you to the South Pacific.
Well,
Got a very special person.
it's good to see that we can still solve a problem.
Yeah, I mean, this island is absolutely tiny. It's basically an air.
Why didn't they just bomb it?
I mean, that would probably kill a lot of birds, too.
Whatever.
Yeah.
At least the ants would be gone. It would blow the ants into the air, and then they would travel through like the jet stream, and they would travel over to the
seems
the
like
west
they
coast.
can survive a lot.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the fire ants, where it's just like You get a couple of them on a boat somewhere, and now they're just everywhere on Earth, and yeah, big problems.
There you go. Well, in other news, a phrase that you've been hearing a lot on this show lately is "America is back." It's a phrase that is simultaneously triumphant and also very ominous. America's back. Oh no! America's back. America's back. He's right behind me. Is back. No! Uncle Sam is right behind me. The worst of the COVID-19 pandemic is behind us, which is great. But Americans are also seemingly making up for lost time in all of the worst ways. People who have spent the last year mostly at home are simply not mentally equipped to jump right back into things. Now, seemingly every large gathering in the past few months has included people acting like fools who have completely forgotten how to properly function in society, and this will likely continue throughout the summer. Sports stadiums, any public event, concerts. If you missed this recent episode of News Dump, a redneck rave got
people getting impaled,
impalement,
slitting their throats. It was bad.
Yeah.
This phenomenon, it has been especially obvious in the world of spectator sports for some reason. And it now looks like that has crossed the Atlantic.
Yes.
The 2021 Tour de France bicycle race began on Saturday, and disaster struck before day one of 21 was even over. All thanks to the boneheaded actions of a fan on the sideline who clearly has forgotten how to behave at this kind of event. We most likely can't actually show you what happened aside from using still images since we don't want to get sued.
It is literally a sporting event that is broadcast on a major network.
We do not have the express written consent of the Tour de France. So.
Or whatever broadcast network here in America.
Although, like, these clips of this are all over YouTube. So I'm not going to risk it.
You can find it.
Yeah.
You can find it.
We will try and break this whole thing down, though, with still images. Maybe go frame by frame in a few spots.
Remember when we covered the Olympics last time? We had to hold up printed images because we couldn't even show digital ones?
Yeah, that was, should have thought of that.
Yeah.
But really, you should go find the actual live footage of it. It's just pure catastrophic failure.
From so many angles.
From every possible angle. I'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah.
So, I think NBC Sports is, they have a whole little video of it.
Yeah. So, stage one of the tour, a nearly 200-kilometer ride from Brest to Landernau. He went through a lot of towns and included a lot of sections where the sidelines of the already narrow roads were cramped with onlookers. At the time this incident occurred, they were about 3/4 of the way through the race, and the bikes were really bunched up together for some reason. Look, we don't know a whole lot about how the Tour de France works. I know it takes a very long time, and there's sections and stuff.
Yeah.
And you definitely need steroids to get through it. I learned that from a documentary.
That's all I really know.
Yeah. So the one time they managed to get Americans interested in this thing, it turned out that, there's a lot of doping going on.
Yeah, we were winning titles. We were like, suck my dick, France. And then they took all the titles away because we had cheated the entire time.
But everyone was cheating.
Well, we're the ones that got caught.
We fell in the
So anyway, since then it's harder to get excited about this whole thing. It's a real sore spot.
Yeah.
But you've got this big tightly packed group of all the riders. They're competing in the race. They're traveling through a relatively
you stupid fucking goddamn what?
Seems like a fever disaster.
No.
This time it very much was.
No.
You really see watching.
No.
It was one rider go down, causing a huge chain reaction involving seemingly every other bike behind that rider also crashing.
Yeah.
From above, it was just a massive, chaotic pile of bodies and bikes all stuck together, lodged in each other, just a sea of humanity.
Yeah.
They weren't really going that fast at this part, thankfully, but still, even falling off a bike at a low speed, it hurts like hell, and it's embarrassing.
Plus, people are falling on top of you.
Yeah.
And there's metal and weight.
Yeah.
And
You fall off a bike on yourself, that's bad, but if you're a big group of people, the guy behind you has no time to stop, so they fall on you, maybe even run you over, and then the same goes, it just causes a chain reaction. Everybody's landing on each other. It's a big old mess, and so on and so on.
So from an outsider's perspective like ours, we don't really know how any of this works. It looks like the bikes shouldn't have been so bunched together like that, but this actually wasn't the cyclist's fault. The spectator right there, holding a sign that apparently translates to "Hi, Grandma and Grandpa," was seemingly posing for the TV cameras and absolutely not paying attention to the actual race happening right behind him, which, it's coming. It's the Tour de France. That's why you're there.
It probably sounds like cicadas, all those bikes.
Well, and also, like, I don't know at what part of the race or whatever, but usually there's, like,
No.
cars and mopeds and stuff. So it's like, yeah, there's a ton of bicyclists coming right now.
Yeah.
Her arm and the sign are sticking right out into the path of the riders. And the rider on the far left, Germany's Tony Martin, has no room to avoid it. He hits it, he loses control, he goes down, and then gets run over by the guy right behind him, and, of course, the chain reaction of destruction follows.
Yeah, his fall, Tony Martin's fall in slow motion. His head, like, slams into the asphalt. The guy behind him is, like, almost about to literally drive over his head, but, like, manages to avoid it, but then still falls on him. And it's chaos.
Yes.
It's just pure chaos. Mm-hmm. So anyway, on top of the fact that the racing teams had to, like, jump into action, check if those bikes needed to be swapped out and whatnot, there were multiple injuries, including another German cyclist, Joshua Suterland, whose injuries were so severe that he had to pull out of the Tour, the entire thing.
Damn it.
Yeah. And, yeah, this wasn't even the only big pileup of the day. I mean, later, near the end of the race, another even bigger crash happened very similarly, at even faster speeds, but it was not caused by a fan. This was just caused by rider error, I guess. But the first crash was entirely preventable, and both the Tour de France and the local law enforcement in France, they want justice. Well, the problem is, this person, who was ironically dressed a lot like Waldo, whereas Waldo is nowhere to be found.
Yes, it's just a nice little spice on top of the story was that they were dressed up looking like Where's Waldo. And probably unintentionally, and it would have not stood out at all if they weren't on like an international
Or
hunt
they
for
planned this all.
Could be. But yeah, it would seem that as soon as the crash happened, she got the hell out of there. Which, yeah, understand.
I would do the same. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot of people mad at you.
So now she's essentially a fugitive, whoever she is. Authorities are asking witnesses and people with information about the spectator to come forward, and the Tour de France itself says that it plans to sue her once she's identified. But figuring that out might be impossible. She was wearing sunglasses and a hat, so her face was pretty well hidden. It's not even certain that this was a woman, to be honest. The only thing that they really have to go off of is the German terms for grandma and grandpa on the sign. And the German-speaking part of Europe is quite large and also spans multiple countries. So this person might actually get away with it, unless
their guilty conscience brings them to turn themselves in.
Oh! Much like with some of the Capitol rioters. The grandmother and grandfather turned her in.
See that? That was me.
Yeah, or she admits to it in a bar. But, like, the grandmother and grandpa, like, because they
maybe the grandparents are super huge fans of the Tour de France, like, they've been watching their whole lives. Now they usually go. Now they're too old to go.
It's too risky.
So, their granddaughter is like, you know what, I'm going to do a nice thing for my grandparents. I'm going to go to the Tour de France, and I'm going to be there on camera and show them, like, look, that thing you love.
I think I'm going to do this in checkerboard
so
pattern.
Like, super into Tour de France. Yeah. And then they see this happen.
Shame.
And they're
all three of them.
You know, they think they love their granddaughter. They're not so sure anymore. But the thing they love, Tour de France, has been tarnished by their own family.
Shouldn't be hard to find Germans that like France.
A lot of Germans like France.
No, I'm joking.
A lot of their neighboring countries.
I'm joking. Okay, but look, I'm saying would be very funny if the grandmother and grandfather turned her.
Yeah.
For bringing shame upon their family.
They might. Yeah, Germans,
it's the opposite of Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
I received no pleasure from this.
Yeah, whatever the opposite of that is.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we get to the weirdest headlines of the week, it's time for a sponsor break. We do 3 this time.
Yeah, sorry, we took that week off.
Took a week off,
so sorry.
Gotta pay the piper.
Yeah.
But this episode is sponsored by
Around the world. Around the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Around the globe.
Yeah. From across this flat Earth.
Mm-hmm. Starting with
California's historic drought is causing drinking water to taste like dirt. Just add lemon, officials say.
Now, the funniest take I've seen on this is in some areas, the drought is causing the groundwater to have more of a eggy kind of flavor to it.
Sulfuric?
Yeah, and people at the news, like someone reported someone in like the headline, tastes like ass. California drought drinking water.
I mean, especially Southern California drinking water has always tasted bad, in my opinion.
I like it.
I don't.
Jimmy loves it.
A lot of people do. I really, really don't. I go when I'll travel other places, and like people will be like, "Oh, just drink out of the sink," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Oh, this tastes like it's been through a Brita filter, but it's just from the pipes."
Yeah.
The water here, I don't know what it is.
Hey, call me a government shill. I like the tap water.
I don't know. Something about it. It tastes. You know what California tap water tastes like? It tastes like what's that bottled water no one likes?
Aquafina.
Tastes like Aquafina. No. I can't remember. It's the one that like Pepsi owns.
I can't remember.
What the fuck? It's the water that no one likes. What is it? God damn it.
Nestle?
No.
What water brand is owned by PepsiCo?
Yeah, sure.
Dasani.
Dasani.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Ugh.
California water tastes like Dasani, which means it does taste like ass. It's got some weird lingering flavors to it. It's sort of metallic.
If I could afford to have Topo Chico completely filled in the fridge 24 hours a day, always, I would do it. It's
lot
the
of glass
best.
to recycle.
But I think actually Coca-Cola owns them now too, so they're not even escapable from the corporate overlords.
At least it tastes good.
LaCroix,
Independent.
yeah, sort of. They're a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
They're owned. Yeah. So LaCroix's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Bubbly though, Pepsi. Pepsi owns Bubbly. There you go.
And Nestle owns all the rest of the water.
Look, there's a lot of problems going on in California. We got the fires. There's a brand new one right now, and just north of here, there's we're drought, which obviously helps the fire, making the water taste bad. We have the big ones right around the corner. It's always right around the corner, the big earthquakes. So
hot state summer.
yeah. So the cicadas not looking so bad.
Worst day ever in pigeon racing history as 5,000 birds vanished.
With one push of a button, down to the CIA. You guys have been called back to active duty.
Yeah. I didn't know that pigeon racing was a thing. They just, I guess they're like, they're homing pigeons, and they go somewhere else far away, and they just release all the pigeons, and whoever gets there first is the fastest pigeon.
Seems like a pretty uncontrollable mess, but I guess it's not.
I mean, I think.
Or that it is because 5,000 just vanished.
I think this is rare, but yeah, this is sort of what I would assume would happen every time. It's just like, oh, jeez, where's all my birds that I just sent out into the sky?
Oh, they're out.
They're come back to me.
They're on the outside of the stadium eating out of the garbage. Oh, that makes sense.
It'd be like if you took like a bunch of dogs and said, all right, first one to New York City wins a big treat. And so like, wait, where are you going? You're all running different directions.
Obviously, you've never seen Homeward Bound because the Marvel family.
What the fuck? Homeward
across
Bound?
the most horrible terrain.
Fight a bear.
Yeah. Come across a mountain lion and shoot it off like a catapult.
Yeah.
Chance, Sass,
Valley Field.
These guys
Michael J. Fox,
stupid.
and the old guy. Shadow.
James Garner.
I don't know.
Some old guy.
Been watching these guys for years and then just
the first one's
still
great,
stupid.
which was already a remake from an original that came out in like the 60s or something. Live analysis
Bullshit.
of Subway tuna sandwiches fails to identify tuna DNA. I feel like this is one of those things that keeps popping up every couple of years.
Yeah.
Where I feel like this was a big thing on the internet 4 years ago.
Like a year ago, someone did the same test and they only found like trace amounts of tuna DNA.
Yeah.
Now 0, but they don't. So it's like if it's not tuna, what the hell is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it matter? It tastes like tuna.
Yeah, I mean, if you're eating tuna from Subway.
Well, it's like the how 90% of Chinese food places use imitation crab meat.
Well, yeah, because crab's expensive.
Yeah, but tuna's expensive if you're putting it on a $4 sub.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they were just like, they said there's one of two options. Either Subway's using something that isn't tuna, or their tuna is so heavily processed that the DNA is just like, it's undetectable.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it tastes like tuna, and you like it, then what's the problem? Whatever. You're already eating Subway. You're making a conscious decision to eat that food.
You just never visit Hawaii. Because if you go to Hawaii, it ruins tuna.
Specifically tuna.
Because you're like, oh, you want tuna? Do you want the freshest tuna you've ever had in your life? We got an entire bowl of it.
Got this 5 minutes ago. Just put like some,
salt
and soy sauce on it. You can eat it just straight up raw. Here you go.
Here's a popcorn bucket filled with tuna.
Every time I go to Hawaii, which is not often, it's been like 5 or 6 years now, but every time I go, I push myself to the verge of mercury poisoning because it's like you just can't get this shit on the mainland. Like poke has gotten a little bigger since then, but even you get poke in LA, and
you're gonna have to cut your toe off.
Like this is fine, I guess, but the poke in Hawaii, it's like you just can't get it.
Yeah,
you can't get it anywhere, so you gotta eat as much as you can.
Literally, if you're eating at Subway anyway, look, they pull those chicken breasts out of a plastic bag in the top.
Yeah, finish this shit.
Look, you're getting what you pay for. I like Subway. I haven't had it in a long time, but I grew up on Subway.
It's fine.
I grew up with Subway too, and now they suck.
Jared, that pedophile, convinced everyone that Subway was You know, a healthy meal,
No.
a good meal.
No.
It's not bad for you if you eat it correctly. You get a 6-inch sub and a Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, yuck.
Just, look, it's not healthy. It's not bad.
I'd rather go to Jersey Mike's. They slice it right in front of you. I'll have it Mike's way. Yeah, that's all you gotta say.
Ugh.
Like, just all of that.
Wherever that is.
Anyways, police break up exorcism in lumber aisle of U.S. Home Depot. Cue the song.
Yeah, so this, I don't think it was confusing, this article. It sounds like they were holding, like, a seance for dead trees.
Alright.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, apparently up in Canada they're talking about cutting down some old growth forests that have some of the oldest trees in, like, Western
I
Canada.
got an idea.
Because of this
Holy shit, this is going to be fucking cool.
30
Alright,
feet wide.
I'm going to
Been
take
there
my
for
glass.
2,500 years. Like, well, we need wood. So there's
I'm going to need a lot more glass.
I think environmental dispute happening up in Vancouver right now.
Just send Mr. Beast up there to plant some seeds. It'll be fun.
No, in
A
2,000
lot
years,
more
these will be
glass.
just as big as the ones we cut down.
Alright.
I've done my part. Poof.
But when I first saw this, I was like, oh, are they holding an exorcism in the lumber aisle because these lumber prices, you just can't build anything right now? Because they have gone down in the last couple of weeks, but they at a certain point they were like several times higher than they were.
Yeah, like a 2x4 was like outrageous.
It was insane. It's like,
that's why when Ben Shapiro did that photo shoot of him with the
that's all he can afford.
That's all he can afford.
Yeah. Here it is, $200 worth of lumber.
I just love that song is like it. If you're doing like on TikTok, it's like if you want the audio representation of like doing
TikTok.
that shit, it's always
Come
that
on.
song. Boom, 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 boom.
I swear to God, if I hear Into the Thick of It one more time, I'm gonna kill somebody. Like, what the fuck is going on TikTok where like at any given moment, everyone on there is capable of using like 2 or 3 songs.
Right now,
in every video.
It's Bo Burnham and it's Backyardigans.
God, yeah.
The big one now is the Ocean's Rising. Like I give a shit.
Yeah. I watched that the other night. It's good.
Well, it's the same thing with memes. Like, okay, we've seen the Natalie Portman Star Wars meme.
I'm sick of it.
It's this.
No, I haven't.
That was like a 3-day meme, and it's been a month now.
We were doing, I think, because everyone was locked away, the output of memes was way higher. Because this one has survived multiple weeks, which has not been the case for a long time.
It's a fine meme. It's it's just as
played out.
just as useful as any other meme. But
Alright,
it's like
now I'm going to
I
fucking...
feel like within like a day, people were already making like meta memes out of it, which is usually means like it's at the end.
Yeah.
Like that's it. When you're making the meme a meta like
Commentary on itself.
Yeah. The meme is it's outworn, it's welcome. But I'm still seeing that shit on fucking Twitter every day. Like, come on, people.
It's because the world is healing. There's not enough people that
are going outside. They're spending less time indoors making memes.
Exactly.
We need a new play.
They're going out and they're living the life experiences while they can, so that when the next lockdown, because the Delta variant happens,
they have more material.
They'll have more material.
Yeah, more life experience. Yeah, that's right. Well, there you go. IKEA slammed for serving fried chicken and watermelon to honor Juneteenth.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
This was IKEA in like Atlanta too, which is like Atlanta is a very black city. Yes. But apparently the planning committee at this IKEA who planned the Juneteenth meal, all white people. They didn't consult anyone on the show. Yeah, but they were white people in management, and so like the comments I read from like black staffers who were upset about this, like, look,
my God,
you just do nothing. Like, no one asked you.
Who gives a shit?
Just because Juneteenth is now a holiday doesn't mean.
Oh my God, yeah, June 10th is another fucking holiday.
Yeah, and especially also like
let's make a fucking slavery day a holiday.
It's racist. Racists use it.
You can't be a racist anymore, you stupid fuck. We are all the human race, you fucking shit birds. Yeah, everybody. We are all the human race. We can't be racist anymore. We have to be ethnically, we have to be,
yeah, it's fucking great.
Hold on.
Oh, wow, you probably like barbecue.
We're different ethnic groups. We're not different races. We're different ethnic groups. So now we have to come up with a new name for being racist, because we can't be racist, because guess what? We're the human race. Yeah, we're different ethnic groups. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, how about that shit? Yeah. Dumb shits. Everybody's fucking stupid. Because we're gonna fucking keep saying racist, and we can't fucking be racist anymore, because guess what, everybody? We're the human race. We're not different races. We're the fucking same race, you fucks. No one gets that, though, because everybody's stupid. Alright, so I'm gonna put... Alright, I'm not ready for that yet. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna plant this. First I'm gonna get a... Hey! Somebody's on here? Alright. Stupid. Fucking racist shit. Can't be racist anymore. Stupid fucks.
And watermelon, the most delicious fruit.
Yeah, watermelon!
Yeah, I bet you like that. It's like, yeah, they're great foods.
Yes.
How about it?
But
It's
yeah,
really, like,
just
really all
not every
water.
fucking holiday needs,
That's why it's water
like a themed
melon.
celebration from
Watermelon.
your corporate entity.
I want a day off.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, that would be in a country that didn't treat its workers like shit. Giving people a day off on federal holidays, that would be nice.
With pay.
Yeah.
That would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Then they can celebrate however anyone wants.
Yeah. That would be great.
What if you got to choose your own celebration? Because you are free to do as you please, and you're going to get a full day's pay for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that would solve all these problems. You can avoid all these faux pas by just sending all your employees home, shutting the doors of the store, telling people to come back on another day.
But they're going to sell like 3 less tables.
Ringo Starr drops trademark fight over Ringo sex toys.
Probably smart for him. Peace and love, peace and love.
Peace and love, peace and love.
Yeah.
His socials, great.
Oh my God, what was that one that he posted like? God, I hate to keep bringing my phone out of this, but he had a real banger on Instagram.
Yeah, what the fuck was it?
Ringo Starr. Let's see.
I don't know. He's very old.
Yeah, someone did a deep fake of him on Pirates of the Caribbean, and he posted, "Man, what another great day. Here I am as a pirate. It's beautiful. Friday, heading down for the incredible Saturday. Peace and love. Here I am as a pirate."
It's like a ton of emojis.
Yeah.
He didn't like that this sex toy company, they're calling their
Ring O,
Ring O,
like orgasm.
but his team met with their team. They reached an amicable solution to this, so they're allowed to call it Ringo, but with a space between the ring and the O.
What the
and
fuck?
There's a bunch of other stipulations, or they can't do anything that might make people associate this with Beatles or Ringo Starr.
Oh, give me a fucking goddamn break.
Chocolate Star.
All these sex toys, I don't understand. Back in my day, we'd just sit in a room.
Oh, give me a break.
Jerk off with
Jerking
Joe.
off with the lights.
That is so
on.
sick right there.
We didn't need all these sex toys. Now everybody's trying not to come. We used to try to come.
Sick.
Hey, John, I'm going to come.
I'm going to fucking come, mate.
I'm going to come.
Oh, give me a break.
So, yeah, when he met with the team, they were in a dark room, and whoever came first got to choose.
Oh, give me a break.
After an altercation on board, a man jumps out of a taxiing airplane at Los Angeles Airport.
This is recent. I haven't gotten more details about it, but this
And
happened
this is-
at LAX.
A day or two after someone drove onto the runway at LAX.
Oh, what? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
There's
just
a lot going on.
What the hell's
fucking
going on
leave
now?
that
And
fucking
just so happened to
hole.
be as like Prince Harry was taxiing in a different plane while it was happening, so everyone's like, ah! There's a lot going on. But yeah, this person had an incident and jumped out of the plane while it was on.
I didn't even know it was possible to open those doors. I guess while it's taxiing and it's
Yeah.
not pressurized.
When it's pressurized, you can't open.
Yeah, but he was like you know what? I don't think I'm going to take this flight. I'm going to get off now.
No, you're not.
And then,
Yes, I am.
He just opened the door, and the big old raft slide, the inflatable slide, popped out automatically, and he just slid down, and he's like, all right, well, I'll be going home now. Then the damn airport police surrounded him and took him in for questioning.
See, this is the thing, is it's like, this is why in 10 years, people are going to be like, why was it that they banned alcohol on planes and just kept it banned forever, and you can't get a drink on a plane anymore?
You can't get a drink on a plane no more?
I'll just stop traveling.
What the fuck?
Or you know
That's
what I'm gonna do.
fucked up.
If that happens, I will get into some, like, frat guy shit. I'll start dipping tampons in vodka and shoving that up my ass.
No,
Going on planes.
dig a hole in the plane before you board it.
Yeah, take a hole in the plane.
Yeah, what you do is you pay it forward. You shove a bunch of those tiny liquor bottles into the seat back and leave them for the next person.
Yeah, like a very complex international system of, like, tracking flights and where on each plane the liquor is hidden.
Making jenkum in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, people calm down, or we're never going to have a good... No one's going to... They're going to lock so much shit down where it's like, look, imagine, because it keeps happening, people keep fucking running on the field and doing crazy shit. Sports stadiums. But they'll never do it because it makes too much money.
Yeah. Speaking of sports, I'd rather die actually living, says unvaccinated NFL player defiant of COVID-19 rules.
Yeah. A person who you would assume wears no padding during the games.
Yeah, I mean...
You tell me what to do.
If I'm going to die, I'm going to die while I'm alive, rather than die already dead. And this guy, his reasoning behind it, very strange, because it's like, by getting vaccinated, he would be able to avoid a bunch of, because the NFL released new guidelines. Like, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to get tested after every game. You don't, there's like all these things you are now free to do. It's more freedom. And there's more freedom if you're vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, you still got to do all this other shit. And he's like, you know what? The more free path seems to be the unvaccinated one, where I'm just constantly getting tested for this disease. That I could avoid all this by simply getting a needle in my arm, but no, that's not freedom. So I'm going to die living rather than die dying.
People are stupid and...
Unrelated, but one of the worst sports injuries I've ever seen.
Stupid.
I'm not comfortable with that.
I don't want to get vaccinated.
Two players trying to get the same ball, one running backwards, one running forward, hit each other. One guy spun off, landed on his leg backwards. And
I don't want to get vaccinated. I'm a redneck.
Look at that.
There's a lot going on with a lot of seemingly detached.
Well, actually, these guys got vaccinated, so they're not rednecks, so that's
my least favorite. You know, I used to go on like fucking Rotten.com and see people's heads blown apart, but like seeing limbs going the wrong direction.
I think
that's what I can't.
The worst one I've ever seen is like one of like, I don't know if it was UFC, but it was one of those mixed martial arts where like the whole leg just wraps around someone.
Yeah, it's fucking. I hate that. That was traumatizing. I can't handle that shit.
Yeah.
Broken bones and joints breaking, the worst. I'd rather see someone get fucking blown up with a grenade.
But that's like,
chopped.
this one was terrible because like usually when someone breaks a bone or something, they're in shock and they're just kind of like, whoa, like whatever.
Yeah.
This guy was like literally clawing off of the field, like dragging his legs.
God,
Jesus Christ. And in a sport where like injuries aren't usually.
Yeah, it's not a contact sport.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was
nuts.
nuts.
Nope.
Anyways, couple handcuffed together for 123 days, immediately break up.
Wow, who could have foreseen this happening?
I mean, that's like why there have people were assuming this, and it looks like it's been happening, is the divorce rate because of COVID.
Post-lockdown divorce.
Yeah, because you're just trapped with someone.
Yeah, this couple, they're in Ukraine, and this idea was ridiculous. I think they did it for clout. They did it for clout.
Don't ever do it for clout.
Work. But yeah, they were like together for a while. They were thinking about breaking up, and then they're on like Valentine's Day. They're like, what if we handcuff ourselves to each other for 123 days?
What?
And,
123 days?
I don't know.
What does that have to do
If
with
it
it?
works, we're meant to be together. If it doesn't work, we'll break up. And it's like,
Oh, really?
I love a lot of people.
I know I would
love my
do.
wife. If I was handcuffed to anyone, I'd probably kill them.
Is that like
I would
you have to go to the bathroom with them and shit?
Anyone.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, of course it's not going to work, you idiots. Why did you think your love was going to be rekindled by like having to sit next to each other while they take a shit?
I think the strangest thing that might have worked, I remember a friend of mine and his girlfriend would like essentially sign leases on their relationship. They'd be like, they would renew their like relationship every couple of months.
That's weird.
It was a little weird, but they lasted quite a while.
So when eventually though, like
Yeah, they broke up.
I'd like to
end the lease.
give you 30 days notice.
Yeah, I think so. But I remember I was like, that's strange, but they seem happy.
I mean, it all depends on, different people are compatible with each other.
They wasn't actually physically signing a document. They're just like, hey, look, we're still happy. Let's say another 6 months, and then like we'll be honest with each other at the end of the 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of us is like, look, I'll be honest, like we gave it a shot.
Yeah, that's healthy. I get it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is being handcuffed to someone. It seems like
You're gonna hate whoever you're. Yeah, you can be handcuffed to the kindest soul on the face of the earth, and you're gonna be sick.
That's why Twitter broke up with Laura Loomer.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Last headline for today, and it's one that we've been looking forward to for a while, with little tidbits dropping here and there, but here it is. Pentagon report acknowledges 143 UFO sightings that it cannot explain.
Yeah, and that's really all there is to it. They're just like, yeah, pilots see shit all the time. We don't know what it is. Might be nothing.
Could be
something. We don't know. But there's a lot of them. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
These ones are just the military pilots team. There's probably a lot more. We don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's it. Here's that shit you asked about.
Well, there you go, yeah. So, still, hey, look, at the very least, they will remain unidentified flying objects.
The official term is unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Yeah, I know.
UAP.
It's not as fun. UAP sounds like
wet ass pussy.
or it sounds like something that bombs a wedding across, like overseas.
Yeah, it does sound like a weapon.
Yes. Yeah. So there you go. Well, that explains nothing. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of news there.
Probably won't hear anything from our government about this for another 25 years. So we tried.
See you later.
Yep.
Gotta catch them in 4K.
Yeah.
The grainy footage is not working.
Yeah, we need better cameras.
There you go. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode of Weekly Weird News. Please do us a favor and check out our most recent episodes over here, including a new episode of News Dump, where we give like a rundown of just what's happening with Britney Spears and the Free Britney movement, as well as explain just a absolutely chaotic festival that happened in the South.
Yeah.
Where someone got
Oh
impaled.
my God, the Redneck Frickin' Festival.
Watch that.
Jesus
Another episode of
Christ.
the Tech News Day with the our in memoriam to John McAfee. So 2 banger episodes right here for you. Check both of those out, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
God. Those guys are definitely Republican. Or something. I don't know, man.
When looking at BlackBerry, reflecting on their story, I would say that it's kind of embarrassing, maybe even scary, to think that something so common and so successful can fall so fast. Here's what I mean. Up until about a decade ago, a BlackBerry cell phone was considered to be one of the coolest, most high-tech items that you can own. That's how I saw it anyway, and I don't think I'm alone. Back me up in the comments if you felt the same way. I mean, they had that iconic look that included the full keyboard, which is a big part of what made it so appealing. It's actually how they got their name. The keys on the early BlackBerry devices were spaced out and had this slanted oval shape that looked strikingly similar to the little circles on an actual BlackBerry. Plus, it's a very quick and definite word with those hard B sounds, so it fit nicely with their image. It was considered to be a business person smartphone, revolutionizing the way business was done with their email capabilities and later on BlackBerry Messenger. Some of the biggest celebrities of the time were known for their BlackBerry phone, including Kim Kardashian, Katy Perry, and even President Barack Obama.
And I was the first president to have a BlackBerry. Years pass, and no one else has BlackBerry.
He's right when he says that. The simplest way to show how much these phones have fallen, I think, would be to look at how many of them were sold each year. And this is where it gets embarrassing. Worldwide, sales were climbing every year, leading up to 2010 or 2011, when they peaked at around 50 million of them. Then they slipped into a landslide until they fell almost as low as the 1 million mark in 2016. That year, BlackBerry announced that the company would stop making the phones altogether, and the production of the hardware would be licensed to other companies, mainly the Chinese electronics company TCL. But they've since lost the license in 2020. This company, Onward Mobility, now has the rights, but I promise, there's not much happening when compared to how things were. So today, I want to take a look at this company, how they came to be, how they got so big, and ultimately, where things went wrong. It's kind of weird, because the company behind the BlackBerry phone was actually called Research in Motion through most of their existence. They changed the company name to BlackBerry in 2013 once the popularity of the BlackBerry phone had already started to fall. Anyway, the main guy behind Research in Motion was Mike Lazaridis. When he was 5 years old, he immigrated with his parents from Turkey to Canada, which would explain why Research in Motion is a Canadian-based company, though most of their success has been in the U.S. market. In 1984, when he was 23 years old, with only a few credits remaining, he dropped out of his electrical engineering program at the University of Waterloo to start a company with his longtime friend and classmate, Doug Fragan. That company didn't have much focus in the beginning, sort of just accepting various engineering contracts. Their first big one was for General Motors. They were paid $600,000 to design this LED sign that showed messages to their workers on the assembly line. Well, eventually, one of these contracts was with a telephone company called Rogers, where they did some kind of work with their messaging network. It led them down the path of wireless communications, where they continued on to manufacture wireless radio modems, and in 1997, they introduced the interactive pager. However, the A in the name is the @ symbol, so I don't know if you want to try to pronounce it that way. It was a two-way pager. It allowed you to wirelessly receive and send messages. Their belief was that the professionals using the traditional one-way pagers would be willing to pay $675 to upgrade to this one, and in many cases, they were right. Within the year, interactive pagers took over the majority of their business. In 1998, they had an initial public offering that raised over $100 million. That was used to help fill their back orders of $100 million worth of pagers that they were struggling to fill. Their revenue more than tripled that year to over $20 million. But all of this was just the beginning, because early the next year, something special happened when Research in Motion released their first ever BlackBerry device. The BlackBerry 850 is the original, and it was more attractive because it had email capabilities. Thanks to the connected wireless network, you can now read and send emails on the go. To do that away from a computer was amazing technology at the time. By 2001, the 850 and the more powerful 857, which looks more like the BlackBerry we know, had replaced those interactive pagers to become the new majority of their business. Though I should make it clear that these initial models did not function as a phone. The first true BlackBerry cell phone was the 5810, introduced in 2002 and was criticized pretty heavily for the fact that it didn't have a built-in microphone or speaker, which seems odd for a cell phone. To use that feature, you had to plug in a headset with a microphone attached. It did come with it, but it was inconvenient, especially when the phone's ringing and you have to rush to find the headset and plug it in time. These people must have been conditioned to panic every time they heard the phone ring. But still, when you combine the communication of the cell phone and the email with the organizing features it offered, like a calendar and address book, this was like the ultimate phone for the business professional. That's who they were trying to attract. So their first national ad campaign consisted of placing ads in business and technology publications. Most of their sales were not coming from individuals, but rather companies who provided them to their employees, specifically technology companies like Dell, or banking companies like Merrill Lynch, or even the U.S. government was using BlackBerry phones. Along the way, they did start to break out into the general public. Like I said, all the celebrities were using them, making them look cool, and the BlackBerry Messenger helped as well. It was a convenient way to communicate with other BlackBerry users.
I never did the BlackBerry thing because I thought it was stupid.
Sort of felt left out. In the following years, they released new models with updated features, but typically staying true to their iconic design and relying on the email and messaging capabilities that helped make them successful in the first place. By most measures, we can say that their biggest year was 2011.
Let me see here.
I'm just going to put this all
I gotta
together
take
so we
the
can
ball
see the big
back.
picture, 'cause I don't know if I've ever seen a graph that tells the story so well. Almost $20 billion in 2011. That was up from $1 billion a few years earlier and back down below $1 billion just a few years later. And then their net income or loss tells a similar story. Major profits in 2011 turned to major losses by 2014. So, the big question here is what happened in 2011 that made everything go so bad for BlackBerry? I really do hate to simplify it this much, but I would go so far as to say that the biggest part of the rise and fall of BlackBerry is the keyboard. I have been hinting at it this whole time. Their biggest features, like the email and the BBM, were complemented by the full keyboard because it made things way easier than your typical phones on the market. It
Oh,
gave
shit.
them their iconic look, and it's
Look
what
at that
got their
shit.
name. Essentially
They're
built their
fighting
entire
each
brand
other.
around it. Well, I'm sure you knew that this was coming, but in 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone, and whether you like it or not, it truly did change the game. Just think about that. One of the most successful products of our time was designed specifically to improve upon BlackBerry's keyboard design. If you look at the presentation, the way Steve Jobs introduced it was by showing a photo of a BlackBerry and all these other BlackBerry-looking devices, and pretty much saying that the problem with those devices was the built-in keyboard, and that the iPhone improves upon
That's true.
that.
The problem with them is really sort of in the bottom 40 there. It's this stuff right here.
Now, the iPhone and that design in general did take a few years to catch on because it was so different that people were apprehensive. Do you remember all those debates about whether or not the touchscreen can ever replace the physical keyboard? And plus, the iPhone was only available at AT&T for the first few years, so if 0%. But remember now, the entire smartphone market was growing fast, so even though their share of it had already been falling steadily, 2011 was their highest selling year. The obvious problem there was that the iPhone sales were increasing way faster. 2011 was the first year that the iPhone surpassed them, and, it continues to get worse from there. And it wasn't just the keyboard. I also have to recognize that Apple and the other smartphone makers were beating BlackBerry when it came to the apps that were available, and their appeal to the general public. This entire time, I've been talking about BlackBerry's focus on companies and business professionals. That's how they started, and they never veered too far away from it. Smartphones in general were seen as being for practical, professional purposes, but the iPhone helped bring them to the general public for personal and entertainment reasons. BlackBerry never adjusted enough in that way, and as a result, missed out on all of those potential customers. Even today, all of these years later, I would bet that most of the people watching this think of BlackBerry as more of a business phone. To finish it up, in 2013, recognizing how much they were struggling, the company made some big changes to try to turn things around. They almost sold the company altogether, but ultimately ended up with a new name and a new CEO. So in 2016, they did stop producing BlackBerry phones and have instead been collecting licensing fees from the other companies that have been doing it. And overall, they make most of their money through software and cybersecurity. In 2019, they spent over $1 billion to acquire an artificial intelligence company, so they do still exist in a much different capacity and as a much smaller company overall. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever owned a BlackBerry?
No.
If you have, I'm curious to know what years did you own it and whether or not it was for business purposes. It really is a crazy story. Not many companies rapidly grow into the multi-billion-dollar range and then fall back down just as quickly. I don't want to say that the iPhone killed them directly, but I will say that the iPhone changed the game, and BlackBerry failed to adapt to those new rules. Do you agree with that assessment? Or would you say that there's more to it?
I think
BlackBerry, leave
Apple
them in the comments.
tried to
I'd
take
like to
over
hear
the
what you
market.
have to say.
That's what I think.
Thank you for watching.
Greetings and welcome to another one of these LGR unboxing of donations things. Look at all of this excellence that has shown up due to your generosity over the past 4 or 5 months or so. I usually do 2 or 3 of these unboxings per year, and this is the very first one for 2021. So let's just jump right into this and see what kind of retro goodies y'all have sent into the channel. First one here is from Aaron in Ireland. Oh, that's a lovely scene. Neat. We got a little message here from Aaron. Included are 2 dongles for 3-com fast Etherlink PCIe cards. Fantastic. Hope you find them useful. Thanks for that many years of videos. You're very welcome, and thank you for those dongles. I had a number of these cards without the little attachments.
Alright.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, precisely what I was looking for and can use. Those are some nice dongles there. And, my chair. Yeah, they go in a card like this. There are all kinds of these 3-com adapters. They all do basically the same thing. There's some for dial-up, some for Ethernet. This is the one for Ethernet, so I can get networking on all kinds of older laptops. This is great. And the next one here is...
Son of a bitch! What the fuck, dude?
Oh, yeah, this is exciting. Look at the setup for this. Okay. So, yeah, this is first actual release on mechanical music label Spinning Rust. Started because in a world of solid-state media, surely people must be missing the sound of clicking tone arms and screeching platters. I know I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you can read the rest of this here, but the gist of it is, he's taken music, and a lot of it made on hardware synths. Props for that. Ooh, look at all this. Yeah. And putting it on hard drives. Like actually releasing the music on spinning hard disks. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all kinds of different music releases on all kinds of floppies and, of course, other magnetic media, cassettes, and all sorts of things. But spinning hard disks appears to be a SATA thing, 5400 RPM drive. Look at that. Got some acid, perhaps, which I would expect with a 303 used. This is really cool. I'm going to have to plug this in real quick.
I'm gonna have to fucking...
Hey.
Here for a minute.
Yeah. Check it out. Oh, yes. Dude. That is spectacular. Yeah, what a unique way to release music, and man, I can imagine a little perilous shipping around the world because, you know, spinning platters. And again, thank you. Consider me a fan of Ragnar Atari. Alrighty, got one here from Sean. Oh, yes. Ah, awesome. This is a Viking two-way phone line simulator. This will be highly useful for doing quick little tests of things. Yeah, check it out. It's just a little delightful little beige box. Needs a little bit of power, and you got plugs there, RJ11, to connect to phones or phone-related devices to make them ring. Two-way communication. No, so it is a little bit more than that. So two-way communication between standard.
Oh, do I
products,
fucking disconnect this shit?
And all, you know,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, check it out. Compatible with fax machines and modem speeds of
Damn,
28. Here are some
this
examples
cord is
of what
so
you can do.
fucking
setups.
confusing.
This is really cool. A more compact solution for some of this. I've actually been trying this with like repurposing an ATA and doing some experiments with that. That allows me to do some different things in terms of setting up my own kind of dial-up network at home. But this is going to be really useful for testing out all kinds of phone products.
We have about this much left.
Telephone mouse devices where it's like literally a landline phone built into a computer mouse. Things like that. Damn it. What? What are you doing calling me?
Oh, fuck.
Told you never call you anymore.
Oh.
Crazy spammers. Dude, this is awesome. Thank you very much. Man, I'm already psyched for like every single thing I've gotten.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go.
I want to use all of
7-Eleven.
them right now, but I got like a million more to unbox. Okay, got one here from Eric. I see a modular synth thing. Ooh, cool thing. But yeah.
I'm gonna have to disconnect with you guys.
Ow.
I've really been
It's got
talking much, but oh well.
thing written on it.